Um, where are we at otherwise here? Like, how are the submissions looking today?
Okay, wait. First, I just want to say, you guys, we launched.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
that's freaking amazing.
We're live.
It is. I mean, it's freaking amazing, right? Like, I actually went back and looked at the roadmap yesterday because I was like, how does that roadmap really unfold? And I mean, it's the shirts, right? That was a big part of it, and then DAO collabs, um, which we're doing, and even like specifics on the roadmap, like work with artists in the DAO to create, and it's like that's going on too, right? I mean, it's not just like CB and Sinjin like locked in a dark room. I mean, they're communicating with folks at the other DAOs and designers in those DAOs and come up with pieces that sort of take a few different sides, and so it's super cool to watch that. And then you have the grants launch, right? I mean, it is basically like the fulfillment of the roadmap within 6 or 7 months. I mean, it's pretty epic, dude.
Yeah, yeah, and the DAO collabs really are primarily slowed down because of me and just bandwidth. But I think if we wanted to do more of them, I think there's more out there. It's just really us just agreeing to do them. But we're struggling already to do the ones we have, so so I'm waiting.
You guys, I think there's like in the DAO space, there's this like looming anxiety about needing to get stuff done really fast because like so much of what certain projects are relying on is just like the hype cycle, and also knowing that like most contributors will cycle through rapidly and not really stick around very long. But I think if we know that we're not just relying on the hype cycle and we have like core contributors that are inspired long term, like slow growth and just long term vision and patience is really like the best path. And so I think we're doing really great with
Yeah, I agree
everything.
100%. I mean, Frog Monkey came in. I don't know if you guys saw that tweet. He asked. He was like, "Well, how is this going to be sustainable?" And it's like I wanted to just say, nothing is sustainable in life, dude. But it's like what you just said. It's everything is sustainable if there's people behind it that want to sustain it. It
Yeah.
doesn't, there doesn't need to be any like super advanced tokenomics or anything involved here. It's really like if people want to keep doing it, then it'll happen. It's really kind of as simple as that.
Yeah.
I really loved your art, man. It was just so it was so on brand.
I appreciate it. Yeah, that
It
was a
was
quick
tight,
one.
wasn't
Yeah,
that? Was Yeah, that was super tight. I mean, a small shout out to UCB for your 365 days of art, right? I mean, you're still on it. The art's still dope. Like,
I
it's been cool to
appreciate
watch.
it. I've wanted to give
Uh,
up many times.
I can imagine. I mean, sometimes I want to like rub you a bit and go, dude, you gonna make it? Only, but I mean, there's no point in saying dumb things like that. I think that you're gonna make it, and it's dope. And if you gotta throw a couple softballs out there, like so be it, right? You get a couple free passes, man. I haven't seen one yet though.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate that.
I like the
Yeah, it's
Neuralink one that you did recently, I think today or yesterday.
yeah, thank you. It's
Pretty
making
wild.
art every day is definitely fun, but yeah, it's hard to sometimes just sit down and be like, "Oh, be creative." It's like, I don't want to do this, but then it forces you, and sometimes you feel good, and sometimes you don't. Sometimes you're still like, "Oh, this is dog shit." But it is what it is. Well, that's cool. It looks like we actually have one submission now.
Yeah, I did see that from uh uh
Nico.
we do. Uh which hey, even if we got one. That's
Right.
it. Yo, man,
All we need
that's
is three, you guys.
no, we don't we no, we realistically only needed one. We just like we just needed one. That's it. If as long as we didn't get zero, and like at which point we would have like we needed to reevaluate a few things, but we got one, and I'm like, oh okay, like that's it. Like now I can breathe a little bit easier. Uh,
Nico will get 3 ETH.
Yeah, Nico's really cool, you guys. She deserves it too. Um,
um,
she's actually here at the at Cabin DAO right now.
I do know. I do know a few other people that said like had offhandedly mentioned that they were going to apply, and I was like, oh, because like they're like, oh, what do I need to do? And I was like, well, I was like, you can either A, listen into the hours upon hours of like grant meeting discussion, or just like wait until like 4:20. Like those are your options. They're like, I'll just wait, and they're probably just like waiting to the weekend to be like, oh, like I have to actually put words onto paper. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I kind of.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think maybe the issue is there's some people that are interested, but maybe they don't think they qualify for some reason.
You
I don't
know,
know.
Yeah,
well, if
I don't know if you caught my message about maybe making another tweet that's oriented towards like a different demographic than the corporate. Because people are like, I'm not a corporate. I guess I don't need to apply for this grant.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of like the term just like working in Web3 because it kind of just is like all encompassing, you know? And it's like if you're working in Web3 nowadays, you're probably involved in DAOs to some degree somewhere.
Yeah, basically, since the definition of a DAO is basically just any Web3 organization. So
Yeah,
it
so it's
works.
like maybe that's turning people off. Like maybe people think that like we're meaning that like they have to like work full time for a DAO or like in a DAO, but like I don't know if I would specifically define that, you know.
Yeah, maybe
It's
we
pretty
need to be
interesting.
like explicit that like we're really not targeting any specific demographic that like, if you need some funding, just apply. Like we don't even really have that many criteria.
Yeah, I mean maybe we haven't posted it in Bankless or anything, but I mean a lot of the active people in Bankless, I mean follow me and follow DoW Punks, so I'm sure like anybody that's active in Bankless is aware of it. Um maybe maybe we should just give it a little bit more time, give it like another 48 hours or something, and then if it doesn't, if there's still like only one or two submissions, then maybe we just be frank and just say like, hey, like, we only have X amount of submissions. Like, is there really nobody out there that needs a grant? Like, and then maybe get a little bit more like, specific. Like, you don't have to be a corporate. You can already be a Web3 person full time, and maybe you just need some extra funding right now or something.
Maybe you're like an activist or like a gardener or like, um, you know, whatever. You're a carpenter or something, but you've been following the scene and you want to get in it.
Well, I think this is somewhat of a classic problem, honestly, in the grant space, and maybe we're all kind of learning this because I've kind of heard this before in the past, where there's like all these opportunities to get free money, and most people either A, don't know about it, or B, don't seek it out or try to get it, even though it's like they probably could get it. So maybe that's just part of the problem here too, is that I don't know, people self-select, I guess. I know there's people out there that need it. Um, so I would hate to just go out there and say like, oh, anybody can apply, and then I'd rather us find a way to like find people that actually need it. That would be interesting.
Yeah, that's kind of where my brain was going too. I mean, it's another blast through the announcements channel, just saying, "Hey, reminder, open call for submissions, DAO punks, etc." And so I'm surprised it's only one, to be honest. Like, I didn't really know what to expect, but I would have thought more.
Me too.
You know?
I was always worried about just getting like 100.
Right. Oh, congratulations, you lost a tooth. Um, molars, Yes, okay, congratulations.
I mean, also, I think it's just like you need to give people time because maybe people want to be thoughtful about their response and, um, they're not just clicking through it real quick. They're kind of like being diligent and um, taking their time with it. But I know of like at least 3 people personally that I know are definitely going to be applying. Nico was one of
Okay.
those people, and like there's a couple other people I know. I mean, yeah. I mean, maybe also in the announcements channel, like pushing DoW Punks to actually encourage people that they know in their lives, to apply for the grant.
Yeah, I'm gonna reach out to some people too. 'Cause I do have like a mental list of some people in my head who I've seen complaining about money on Twitter or other places. So maybe I need to just reach out to those people and say, hey, like if you really need something, and I know these people are builders in the space, so it's like I know they're legit. I just need to just maybe reach out to them and say, hey, are you aware of this? Because I see that you're hurting for capital right now.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, let's do that. I know a few too, of course. I'll reach out to them. I do think we should do another announcement at some point, and then yeah, depending on where we are, maybe early next week, think about what it looks like to blast it out to Bankless. What's the end date?
For submissions, let's see.
Yeah.
It's on the announcement. Let me look. Yeah, May
Okay.
4th. I mean, let's see. So we have, how many bankless calls do we have till then? We've got one tomorrow, one on the 29th. So we have 2 calls before then. So really, like, we won't say anything maybe tomorrow. I mean, unless you guys think I should, I'm willing to do that.
I I have the suspicion that Monday this weekend will be helpful. I just think I think we should maybe wait, but like I definitely think that maybe the worst thing possible is that we get too many submissions by making the announcement tomorrow. But it's fine either
Yeah.
way.
I mean,
Uh,
we could always just wait and see. And then if worst comes to worst, we can just hit the bankless call on the 29th. I mean, there's usually like at least 100 people on that call. So, I mean, there's probably a couple people that probably would apply just by just saying it.
Okay, that's cool. Well, so we'll wait, and then even if we hit it on the 29th, that still gives them almost a week to get an application in. And you said what? It's about 30 minutes to complete it, so
Yeah.
seems fair. I mean, I think there's a sweet spot. Like, I mean, I would love, like in my mind, it was always 20 or 30 would be like a really nice number to sort through. Um, so
here.
I guess with my point, like, blast a little bit. I mean, how often should we be tweeting it? How often are you tweeting it, CB?
I haven't today, but I mean, we got a lot of like impressions yesterday. Like I was, retweeting it, like doing little hacks and stuff to make it go out further. So it got a lot of impressions. So maybe we'll just let it sit today and maybe shoot something off again tomorrow.
Cool.
I hear. I just put something in the chat or in the community voice chat for maybe a tweet to like Michael's idea of just like to anybody else that's not a corporate. No longer a corporate, but consider yourself a Web3 nomad or a novice in the Web 3.0 or DAO space. Are you needing capital? Are you in need of capital for a project or an idea in the space? DoW Punk's grants program is open, and we want to hear about it.
Yeah, I like that. And maybe what we should do too is next week or sometime, maybe tomorrow or something, just put another post in the DoW Punks community and just say, hey, like, even if you don't want the grant, like, you probably know somebody who does. So why don't you tell them?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And then
Cool.
we'll get going on that. I do have an idea, by the way, for Cult DAO I wanted to ask you guys about. I think we probably could get some funding from Cult DAO. I did reach out to Mr. Modulus, the founder, and kind of tell him that we were interested in something similar. And he kind of gave me a bunch of reasons why that would be difficult and why like their project almost failed and stuff. And it kind of made me start thinking. And I was actually like listening to a lot of stuff yesterday on tokenomics, and it kind of made me think like, yeah, I don't know, maybe a DoW Punk token isn't really even worth doing. But what I was thinking is, I still think we could get funding from Cult DAO. Like they're giving away 15 ETH grants, and which I think is really realistically 13 ETH because they burned 2 ETH of it. But I mean, that would be like that would be a huge percentage of our treasury right there. What I was thinking is that we could put a proposal forward maybe soon, maybe not like in this immediate couple weeks, but maybe like in the next month or two, we should put a proposal forward with Cult DAO and say, basically we'll say, hey, look, we are funding people to go full-time DAO Web3, which is basically what that community is all about, is like decentralization maxis. And what we could do is we could say, look, we want to give away the grants in Cult, or we will give away the grants in ETH like normal, but then we'll add on amounts in Cult as well. And so instead of each grantee only getting like 1 ETH, maybe they'll get like 1 ETH, and maybe they'll get like another 0.5 ETH worth of Cult. And I think Cult would be willing to do that, because what we could say as well is we could say, look, if we get the 13 ETH grant, we'll take like 25% of that and burn that. And then we'll take the remainder and use that for our grants program. And I think they would be completely game with that, because they've already done a couple proposals and just straight up burned 13 ETH worth of Cult like multiple times. So in this case, we'll still burn some for them, but then we'll still take some. And basically, we're just going to be distributing it into the community, which I think would be interesting. I think they'd go for that. So I think we could probably approach them and maybe get like maybe 10 ETH worth of Cult, and maybe we could just keep it in Cult and allocate it on top of like 1 ETH grants, and maybe make like cohort 1 kind of like supercharged. And then maybe that opens up the door in the future as well, to where maybe we can approach other DAOs, and maybe not all of our grants are in ETH. Maybe some of our grants are in other DAO tokens or something. Obviously it'll still equate to some dollar value, and it'll still be liquid. So if people want to sell it, and maybe that's an interesting way to approach future longevity as well.
Whoa, cool.
Yeah, I'm all on board. That sounds dope. And then like the DAO stuff, I mean, for sure, right? Which kind of also goes back to maybe we think about like how DAOs can sponsor, cohorts or individuals sometimes. So, yeah.
Yeah, because for them, it's like they basically just printed that money. I mean, you look at Bankless DAO's treasury; it has like $10 million, which we all know isn't liquid. So it's like, what's like 3 ETH to them? I mean, it's nothing, literally, because it's not liquid anyways. So so it's like it's just free money basically that they're giving away. So that'd be interesting. Approach some other DAOs like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love it. Do we have anything like else to talk grants wise? Like, is there anything we need to figure out in the short term for what's going on next week and the week after? It sounds like maybe at this stage, like we're in pretty good shape and don't need to have any real action items going on for next week.
No, uh not until after not until closer to the end of the application cycle, where we can start to see how many cases or how many apps we have and how to divvy them up.
Right. Yep.
Well,
Is that what
maybe we should take tomorrow off then, and just let's not have a call then.
kind of sounds like it?
And then I'll just start thinking about some additional marketing if we need it here coming up in the next couple of days.
Do you guys want to have a community call now that we've announced the grants program, and just like do
Well,
like
I mean, that was honestly like always part of the way I envisioned part of that, right? Was doing a community call with the grants program being open. So like doing one next week. But then we decided only to do the AMA with the snapshot, potential candidates. So I mean, that's just what we decided. I'm still actually down for doing an AMA. While the grants are open, I think part of the concern was we might get too many applications. I don't quite remember, to be honest, why we went the other way. But
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
down to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of merit to doing an AMA next week.
Yeah, I mean, why don't we do that? And I mean, Live Fast, you can post in the announcements channel now. So if we wanna like just work amongst ourselves and figure out a date that works for all of us, Live Fast, you can go ahead and just shoot an announcement out
oh
and let
shit, I
everyone know.
can. I
Very
had I
strong with fast.
shit, I didn't even know I could do that.
Yeah, you should be able to.
Yeah, I can. I
Yeah,
just saw that like I could talk. Oh crap. Oh god. I feel like that meme of the kid with like like shoot like holding up the middle finger and just like realizing the power.
it's fun. That's great. Yeah, please. SCB said, take the reins on that baby, and let's
Okay.
figure out
Yeah.
a date for an AMA. So let's look at some calendars here. Do you guys want to dial that in right now?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, might as well, right? And so Here we go. Well, like, for example, we could use this since we're already scheduled for this time next week. We could use this slot next week to do an AMA. It's not super great for Europe, though, is the problem, but it does catch Asia and Australia. That's the thing with AMAs. Like, you're always going to block out either Asia or you're going to block out Europe. And you can't really fix that problem. You choose one or the other. So I'd say either do it like at 10 or do it at 3 on Thursday.
Yeah, I like that. Let's see. I'm open either time for that. I mean, either way, what we could do too is we could do it. Maybe the best format would be to do it on the DoW Punks Twitter Spaces, and then we'll just record it, and then that way we can just shoot out the recording as well. So if anyone misses it, they can just listen to it.
Oh yeah, that's smart. And maybe is Thursday a dumb day just because it's only gives people 3 days to do it. But of course, like if you really want to like go and get a grant, taking 30 minutes to do it should be enough time. And like we can be really clear on that Twitter Spaces that hey man, this is 30 minutes. We're not looking for a dissertation. Like get some submissions in. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Live Fast.
I was gonna say I'd preferably maybe like on Monday or Tuesday might be better.
I get it.
Yeah, cause well, no, we could do it on Thursday because I'm just looking at the calendar, and it's you still have if you do it on Thursday, you still have that weekend to write it, so that should be fine too.
Yeah, and then we can go on the Bankless DAO call on the next day, and so we're just like following up right away, and then we can reference that call too and say, hey, like if you're interested in finding out more, there's a recording from yesterday.
Okay. Cool. And you said it closes the 4th, and so I mean we still got a lot of time. Like okay, so we're gonna do Thursday. So do you want to do? You just want to do 3 o'clock, or do you want to do 10 o'clock? You want Asia and Australia, or do you want Europe?
3 o'clock. I can't do 3 o'clock. I have town hall
Okay.
with movement.
Okay.
But we do have some European constituents.
Are you guys on the same?
We don't have.
Are you guys talking about the same time zones right now, though?
I
No,
have no idea.
We're not actually. Okay, so I'm talking 3 Central, which is where I am right now. But I'll actually be on the West Coast at that time. Hero, you're on the West Coast, right?
Yeah, so I was talking just the same time we have now, which would be 3 p.m. PST or PDT,
Okay.
I guess.
And I can do that.
Yeah,
Okay,
But
so
you
just our
also
normal,
mentioned Europe.
The normal time. Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
But you
Okay,
did mention, I mean, that we do have like folks from Europe who are more active participants as opposed to Asia and Australia.
Yeah.
So I mean, mindful of that. That's a good point. Um,
can you do 11 PST? So that'd be 2 o'clock Eastern.
on Thursday, I can do that. Sure.
Yeah, that works for me too. Yep.
Let's dial it in.
All right, I'm putting it in my.
PST would be. Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the number is for Central. I just like I could do Pacific, Pacific and Eastern, and then like from there, it's just like everybody's like, oh, it's only 1 or 2 from like this other time.
Yeah.
So
Live fastest weight, man. Like so, it's after this many months, I finally do UTC conversions. In my head, which you'll get there. Like it's just after so much coordination, UTC seems to be the thing, or Central European Summertime. There's another one you'll come to love.
Dude,
But
yeah.
Do you guys want to hear my time zone nightmare story?
I do. I love time zone nightmares.
This is absurd. This is like I could not figure out what the fuck happened because I started doing like community moderation for Movement DAO, and so I was setting up all their events in the Discord, which is like the Discord native events. And so I set up all the times for the following week's events. And at the time, the whole like the U.S. had changed time, changed daylight savings time, but Mexico had not. And I was just like, oh, that's cool that Mexico doesn't do daylight savings because fuck daylight savings. And I set the times, and then the next week, all the times were wrong. And I was like, how did that happen? Like, I know I set the times right. And it turned out that like Mexico had actually changed time and did daylight savings like a month later than the rest of the world. So like not only did Mexico, like was I previously 2 hours behind the East Coast, and then became 1 hour behind the East Coast, and then became 2 hours behind the East Coast again, like a month later. And Discord, because I made the events from Mexico, like when Mexico changed their time, instead of changing instead of my side, like the time number changing and it being the same for the rest of the world, it actually pushed the date, it pushed the hour ahead for everyone else in the world in order to keep the time number the same from the Mexico time zone. And but I couldn't figure out that like why it had happened that way. It was the most confusing thing, and I was so embarrassed because like it fucked up all the meetings. Like people showed up at the time that they thought it was, but then the meeting had a different number on it, and everybody was like showing up at the wrong different times, and it was terrible.
Jeez.
Yeah.
They're like, Micah, you're fired.
I thought I for some reason thought you were like you got to experience the hell that is that one section of Arizona that has 4 time zones within like 20 miles, the 20 square miles where it has multiple time zones
Oh
and
my
it just
God.
messes with people.
That's crazy. That's
Dude, there's been
nuts.
so many times where I set meetings with people and I'm like calling them and
All
I'm
the
like,
time.
you said we're meeting at this time. They're like, no, this time. I'm like, what the hell?
All the time. It's amazing.
It's such a mind fuck when it happens
If
to
somebody
real
can
everyone.
figure that out, that if somebody can figure out a solution to that, that is going to be a game changer.
Dude, the
Big
solution
time.
is no one should ever do daylight savings. Like there's no good reason to do like daylight savings. Like the whole world could just have high noon, you know, noon is at high sun. That's it. All year. You know? Like daylight savings, like the whole narrative of daylight savings that I learned as a kid was like, oh, it's for farmers because it gives farmers like an extra hour in the morning to get ahead of like the market or whatever. And that's actually bullshit. Like the like Farmers Almanac like did a survey of its readers and was like, so farmers, like, what do you think about daylight savings? And they're like, I think it's awful. Like they're like, my animals don't care what number the clock says. They want to eat at the same time every morning. And so when all my
Yeah.
workers change schedule by an hour, the animals get pissed and everything gets messed up. And we have to like gradually change their feeding schedule over like 2 weeks instead of, and it to catch up. It's like the worst.
Dude, that's what happens when you put the government in charge of anything.
Oh my
Well,
God.
we fixed it. We no longer have daylight savings time next year. It's done.
Is that done?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Are you
Really?
like it's signed around in the federal government level, like
Yeah.
executive president signed off, done.
Yeah,
Period.
we're done.
Are you
Like
serious?
this is
We're
it.
done.
Yes.
I
It
knew it
goes
was floating around. I didn't see that it was finalized. Like, but I don't read the news much anymore, man.
I
So like,
yeah, I'm like 95% sure that it was signed before daylight savings time went into effect, and like this was the last one.
Do we get
what?
stuck in daylight savings time, or do we go back? Do we go back to standard and then stay in
No,
standard?
dude, we get stuck in daylight savings time. I think.
No, that's
Forever.
even worse. I saw that.
It's
No, because it
right.
asyncs us from the rest of the planet.
Yes, and it's so
That's
crazy.
so
Yeah,
America to do that.
I know. It's like
God.
let's measure speed inches,
Like,
guys. It's awesome, dude.
like, they're like, oh, you want
Oh
us to
yeah,
ditch it? Fine, then we'll just flip the fucking table over.
it's totally it. It's like fuck you, you know. It's
Yeah, we
totally.
the rationale was that that like we have wait, are we in standard time or daylight time now? I don't know which one we're in right now.
We're in daylight time now.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
hard to keep track.
Like it's funny,
okay, yeah.
people try to say, is that Eastern or Pacific? And they're like, oh yeah, PST. And it's like, actually,
I
I
just
think
say
you mean PDT. And then it's
yep.
like, yeah.
Yep, I don't care. I say PST for everything, and I know
No, you
I
can
know I
just say
don't care.
PT. Don't say PST, just say PT. And then it defaults to which one you're in at that time of the
Yeah.
year.
So I know that they said that they're keeping this whatever one we're in right now because it gives us the most daylight up at in the afternoon when people are out of school and out of work. They're like you don't need the sun during the at 7 o'clock in the morning. That was the logic. You don't need daylight when you're like when people are just waking up.
Hmm.
All right. That was my rant.
I like it. Sounds good.
This is just another plot for like them to suck more work out of us. Basically, they're like, we're just gonna make everybody wake up an hour earlier. You know, like how can we get people to wake up before dawn so they can start their workday sooner?
This all sounds fun. I always laugh because like when daylight savings time, first started being a thing, they talked about having like farmers get more light, right, to harvest crops or get to market or whatever. And then like, I mean, how long have tractors had, like external lighting for? A long time. So I've never understood it. I
And
can't believe we're stuck in daylight savings time. That's terrible, but like whatever.
the
And
initiative was actually
uh,
combated by farmers when it was initially passed. Like it
sure.
wasn't proposed by farmers, and then farmers actually lobbied against it. It-
So is it mean I've heard energy related type things. What is the justification for it?
I don't even remember.
Oh God, let's just move on.
Yeah.
Okay, so
There's probably some
I didn't
industrial
know that this was
labor
so
thing.
widely contested, to be honest. So I'm just
oh,
learning
this
new stuff.
it's been a long time thing for me. I mean, like even before kids, maybe, but daylight savings time really fucks the kids up in their sleep schedules, um, and so I hate it just for that. But otherwise, like I wake up really early, and I'm typically up by 3 or 4 and kind of sitting in my window working. And in the summertime, like at 4 a.m. when it gets light out, like I like it. But then the flip side is like in the wintertime, it doesn't get light where I am until like 8 a.m. And I'm going, well, if we didn't have to flip it back and forth, like it wouldn't be as bad. But of course, now it's not going to be as bad in PDT. But I kind of wish we were at PST because now I spend so much time working with folks in Europe that those will always be a source of confusion, and like you're saying, like, oh my God. But anyway, enough of that. Blah blah blah.
Whatever.
Cool.
Actually, slight correction. It passed the Senate and it hasn't passed the House or the President yet. It's up, needs to be taken up by the House.
Okay.
But yeah, it passed the Senate by unanimous vote,
Oh,
unanimous
wow.
consent.
Unanimous. Wow.
That's cool. So now we need to wait for the House to do it, and then someone to sign it, and
Yep.
politics to do their thing.
So
So
I have
2 years.
I have a fun announcement slash proposal. Because we launched our grant program while I was here at Node Zero, Cabin has this tradition. They put up a little brass plaque for every project that launched from the cabin, and a Constitution DAO launched from the cabin. I don't know if you guys know that. I didn't know that. They have a plaque up here. So there's a bunch of different project plaques. So they offered to put up a DoW Punk's grants plaque in the cabin. I thought that was really
Oh,
cool.
that's sick.
Right?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's like, what are the odds?
I know, right? It's super cool. So I could tell him yes. Let's do it.
Yes, that's
Okay.
super cool. I love that. Take a picture of it and take a picture of it up close and then take a picture of like the whole wall.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I will. And they're kind of scattered into random places around the house. They're not all like on one wall. But I don't know.
Okay,
They
yeah.
probably won't arrive while I'm still here.
That's cool. Just
But
take a picture of some of the other ones and then
okay. Yeah,
and
they'll
then we'll
send us
get
a
them to send
picture
us a
and take
picture.
a. Yeah, that'll be cool. And also, as far as like cabin collaborations, like they do a DAO residency program here. So those are people who like would be prime candidates for the grant. Um, and for this cohort and future ones, I'm not exactly sure what to propose as far as like functionally like what that would look like, but it seems well suited.
Yeah, we could probably, I mean, I'm assuming people will pay to stay in the residency, right? So we could offer like some sort of
Yeah.
payment for lodging.
Yeah, totally right. Something like that. Yeah, and I think Cabin maybe does their own sponsorship program, and then we can offer our sponsorship program, and it kind of had a similar vibe as like the kernel idea that you presented. It's like it's a program, people are getting involved, and what I'm seeing here that's happening is like super cool. Like the folks who are here now at Build Week, like we're all just like bouncing ideas off of each other, and we all come from different walks of life, and so we're getting connected through each other's projects, and um, like it's a really great way to get shot into the DoW stratosphere, get a head start is what I'm seeing. Like, even though Cabin doesn't offer like a curriculum or anything specific, it just is a very great way of just getting immersion in the space and finding your path.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Another thing that we could do too in the future is we could also we could offer some like matching grants as well, where we could like challenge other people or other DAOs, and we'll like match whatever they donate up to a certain amount. I was thinking about personally doing that maybe after a couple cohort rounds, say like, hey, I'll match up to 3 ETH worth of donations to the DoW Punk grants and like see how many people participate. It'd be interesting.
That'd be wild.
Then you turn it into a pissing contest.
Yeah.
I like that. That's cool. And Sinjin just got back from a similar thing like that in was it Puerto Rico?
Right? I think it was
Costa Rica.
Costa Rica. Yeah, that looked cool.
Mm-hmm. Nice. I added one checkbox down by the email address. I said we will keep this private, and then there was the would you like to sign up for the DoW Punks newsletter? And then I added, would you like us to contact you about job opportunities in Web3 based on the information you provided? And like, even just looking at Nico's application already, like she has some like game development skills and some 3D graphics design skills and stuff like that. And it's like, if we collect a bunch of skilled talent from these applications, once we have like enough, I think we could put a call out to Web3 companies and DAOs that's like, hey, if you guys need talent, like we're a source for talent, and we can negotiate some placement bounties or whatever.
Ooh.
Like, I don't
I
even
like
think
that.
like I had this whole elaborate idea about the whole, there was the work board side, and then I had this elaborate idea about the talent board side, and then I'm like, you know what, like we just have this spreadsheet already of application submissions. It really doesn't even need to be any more elaborate than that. And how much effort does it take to just go through and handpick like the talent? I did like, if they select any of the dev boxes, I have a conditional box that pops up and just it's like, what are your specific dev skills? Because I've already had people being like, "Oh, you're doing DoW Punk's grants. Like, hey, we're looking for React and TypeScript developers. So if you know any, like, send us our way." Like everybody is super super eager to find developers in particular. And like content producers and all of that. So
Yeah, I like that. That could be another potential revenue source for sure as
yeah,
well.
I know, especially after seeing Keeper's bounties of like 10% of the salary, I was like, holy crap, that's huge.
Yeah, dude, that's pretty normal, honestly, in the recruiting world. Recruiting companies make a shit ton of money.
Dude, let's fucking go. I mean, we just put it out there
Yeah,
just like that. Just be like, yo, you need talent? We'll place talent at 10%. Like, boom.
The finder's fee.
Yeah.
yeah. There is the talent DAO. I think with Saul Thorin, and they're
Mm.
like working on that stuff. I think something related to that. I think maybe Saul Thorin might actually apply for the grant. We'll see. Maybe there's some synergies there in the future.
Nice.
All right, cool guys. Well, I guess we've been on for like an hour, so
Yeah.
guess probably call it.
Yeah.
So sweet. Live fast. Drop that announcement for the AMA and use your announcement powers. Like it's very exciting the first time you do that. I remember like it was yesterday. And so enjoy the hell out of that. That's awesome. Congrats on the mod roll. Like super cool.
Thank you.
And
Appreciate it.
well,
It's truly an honor too, by the way. I was not expecting it at all. I was like, yeah, yes, like, yes, thank you.
well, it's like the DoW Duo.
Awesome.
Like you show up, you do good work, and like I mean, you've been very consistent for a very long time now, and it's deeply appreciated, not unnoticed. So like super dope.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate
like
it.
enjoy that announcement. Like that's very fun. I remember to use like
Discretion.
well, not discretion. I'm not worried about that with you. I mean, hashes to link to like different channels if you need to, and use emojis and make it kind of colorful and fun. But yeah, do your thing. And so we are on for 11 PDT next Thursday
So
for
11, let me just double
Grant
check.
AMA.
11 p.m. PDT.
11 a.m.
Okay, that's
AM, yeah.
yeah, 11 p.m.
different kind of Grant party. You know?
Yeah, so that's 2 o'clock my time. Okay, cool. So hey, live fast. Before you send that announcement, let me schedule the space on the DoW Punk's Twitter, and I'm gonna send you this RSVP link, and you can send that link in Discord, and then people can actually like click on it and set a reminder, and then that way it'll just notify them, and they don't have to like remember it, which is cool.
All right. Sounds good. Definitely.
Alrighty.
And then oh, I'm actually just so you maybe. But speaking of tomorrow, Thursday, April 21st. Oh no, I was just looking at it. I know I was just taking a look at the attendance list, and I just saw that Mina had RSVP for today and yesterday, for today and tomorrow, but it doesn't look like she showed up for either one of those. So yeah, I think we're okay if we cancel tomorrow.
Yeah, I think she's at what's it called?
Amps.
ETH Amsterdam.
Yeah, ETH Amsterdam.
Yeah, did you see our dev who put together like the NFTs and stuff for us? He saw her.
Yeah. Yeah, that was funny. And especially because she made the comment last week that she's just like, I don't like to be put myself out there, but if somebody's going to be in ETH Denver, I'm going to be wearing the shirt. So that's the only chance you'll ever see me in real life. That was it.
That's funny. That's so cool.
Oh yeah, and Maiko, yeah, you want patches.
Yes, I want
Send
patches.
me.
Oh yeah, I need to DM you.
Yeah, so I can get them sent to you.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
No problem.
You guys, I'm going
All right.
home next week. On our next call, I'll be back in Humboldt County. I'm so excited. Great.
Whoa, it's been a long time, Maiko. How many months now?
6 months.
Damn.
Yeah, I sold my motorcycle last week
Whoa.
That's
in
cool.
Oaxaca City. I flew to Austin. I'm at Node Zero this week and flying back to Humboldt on Sunday.
Wow, dude.
That's so cool, dude. You're like a digital nomad, 100%.
Yeah, I'm about to be a digital tree again. Rooting in.
That's what I am, dude. I'm a
Rooting
digital
in.
rock.
There's a lot of value to that, man. There's a lot of benefit.
Yeah. That's cool, man.
All right.
All right, guys. Well, I'm
That's all,
scheduling the
y'all.
space right now, and
Okay, sweet.
I'll send this to you live fast, and then you guys have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, you too, guys. Take care. Stay safe.
Bye.
Cheers, guys.
Good evening.
See ya.
Weekend.
Bye.